Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Be sure to check me out over on Rumble. There you'll find all of my stuff from YouTube, plus my political and social commentary and weekly current events, which YouTube frowns on. Links to my Rumble channel, as well as my other YouTube channels, and links to let you order my books are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a Cryptid Encounters video on the Yeti and the Alma. But before we get into that, I'd like to share kind of plug my books a little bit there, if you don't mind. I wrote a 3-book series called Drifters, science fiction westerns, a political fantasy called The Righteous President, a fun story about a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. It's called The House Off Farrago Road. And I wrote Vanguard 1 and Task Force Terminus, which are the first one is Vanguard 1, the sequel is Task Force Terminus. It's a science fiction war type thing. And I think they're good books. And if you enjoy a good read, check out my author page on Amazon under H.L. Anderson. The author's page is H.L. Anderson. And if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. In the spring of 2019, a group of Indian soldiers went into the Himalayas on a training mission. They were led by Major Manoj Joshi and consisted of 18 men. There were 6 other officers and 11 men, non-commissioned men. On April 2nd, the team began their journey into the mountains to the Makalu base camp. On April 9th, they were in the Makalu Barun National Park and paused at the 4,500 meter elevation mark. It was a waypoint called Langmale Karka. I hope I'm saying all that right. They needed to climatize their bodies to the increasing altitude, so they made camp. Team members explored the surrounding area and stumbled upon a trail of mysterious footprints trailing through the snow. The largest of these footprints measured 32 inches long and 15 inches wide. That's over 3 times the size of a human footprint. The stride was as long as 4 feet. That's twice the stride length of a man. These footprints were barefoot with no boots. The first modern account of a Yeti and this is from a military group, by the way, that reported this. They have photographs and everything. The first modern account of a Yeti is a report made by a British resident at the court of Nepal. He wrote that native hunters had been frightened by a wild man covered in long dark hair. That was in 1832. In 1889, Scottish explorer Major Lawrence Waddell found huge footprints in the snow at an elevation of 17,000 feet near Sikkim. His local guide identified them as belonging to a Yeti. In 1921, the British Mount Everest Reconnaissance Expedition reported sighting a Yeti. They called it the Abominable Snowman. Led by Colonel Howard Bury, the team was making an attempt on the north face of Everest. They found tracks but thought it was a wolf in the Lakpala Pass. Hope I'm saying that right. At an elevation of 22,470 feet, they saw a number of large dark figures moving at a distance away from them. They were easy to see because their dark outlines stood out against the heavy snowfall. Their guide identified these creatures as Yetis. In 1925, a Greek photographer named Nicolaou Tombazi was on a British geological expedition. He was on the Zimu Glacier in the eastern Himalayas when he saw a Yeti. He couldn't get his camera ready before the creature vanished into the bushes. Now, keep in mind, back in 1925, they didn't have portable cameras like they have now. We're talking tripods, the whole 9 yards. So he couldn't get his camera ready by the time the thing, went away. But the other people witnessed it. So, in 1937, another climber named Frank S. Smythe was exploring in Tibet when he saw tracks that same year during a clash with the Japanese, Let me start that one over. In 1937, another climber named Frank S. Smythe was exploring in Tibet when he saw tracks. That same year, during a clash with the Japanese, Russian soldiers in Mongolia shot and killed 2 beings. They were described as strange anthropoid apes about the size of a man, but covered with long red hair. Because of the battles in the area, the bodies could not be returned. Yetis in the Tibetan and Indian Himalayas are reportedly very aggressive and carry off humans to eat. Yeah, they're not like the Bigfoot here. They see somebody, it's very rare a Bigfoot ever interacts with humans, much less attacks them. In Tibet and India, they're pretty aggressive. The Almas of Russia and Mongolia are more standoffish and less dangerous. Many villages report capturing Almas and forcing them into servitude. One such female, Alma, bore a number of human children, and her lineage can be traced to modern times. That's one of the things that gets me about stories like this. In America, a lot of people don't even think Bigfoot exists, and they may not. I'm not saying they do. I'm not one way or the other on that fence. I would like to think that they do, but I'm not committing to it one way or the other. My contention is when you have so many people of credible character, credible employment, doctors, lawyers, military men, and they see something and they say something, oh no, they're crazy. They were saying up until that point, but then suddenly they're crazy. Any way you want to look at it, the Alma and Yeti is as vibrantly rich in Asian culture as Bigfoot and Sasquatch are in America, but there is one main difference. The difference there is that the locals don't have to wonder. They believe. It's part of their culture. And again, there was an Alma captured by a tribe in a village rather in I want to say it was in Mongolia, Russia. And this Alma was a female, so she became the sex slave of the village, and she bore a number of children. And her lineage can actually be traced back. So Lloyd Pye talked about that in one of his videos. Everything You Know Is Wrong. If you get a chance, check that one out. My contention is, here, people try to get pictures of Bigfoot, trying to prove that he exists in certain parts of the world. They don't have to get pictures. They all believe because they've all seen it. It's there. It's part of their culture. So, hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. Vanguard 1, Devo Polan, a scientific representative from a pacifist race called the Gandhiri, has come to Earth to learn the one thing that humans do better than anyone else in the galaxy: to fight. In the sequel, Task Force Terminus, Earth is at war with an alien race called the Amdola. Devo Polan's new commission in the Terran fleet exposes him to bigotry and treachery, and he comes to realize that sometimes political and military maneuvering are one and the same.